Heyo! So, Sketchbook tour. People have been asking for it. I have been saying that I'm gonna do it, and then I keep on forgetting. Maybe also because I keep not finishing sketchbooks. That is my biggest enemy. But I did this one. And before that one, I was working in this one that I never finished. I barely even got halfway. But this one was started in March, and this one was started in May, and I haven't done this one. I did the previous one before this one. Wow. Words. I know them. Which was this one, which was 2 March. So you've seen that one, and yeah, now it's time for the next one, or the next ones. I want to count these as like one sketchbook, because I also didn't finish this one. The final pages of this, never finished, never did them. I used it for scrap paper for my new one instead. What? Sneak peek, the one that you saw me decorate in that one Artex video. From the moment that I'm filming right now, the giveaway is still going, by the way. You have very little time to join, but it concludes on August 30th, so draw your dragons, send them to me, tag me in your posts on Instagram and whatnot. And TikTok. All the rules are like in the description of my previous video, so just read them and then have a chance to win some free markers. I'm just repeating it here because I can, and because Artex are nice to me. Okay, anyways, sketchbook time. Am I right? So I started in one sketchbook, and then that one fell apart, and I kept the pages, so technically it is part of this one still. And then I continued onto this one, got upset, and then I found Orange, my one true love. But yeah, as you can tell with the cover, deep in my space shenanigans. I love space. I love space. I love astronomy. Astrology, not so much. I don't really care for astrology. But astronomy, that is my shit. Planets, stars, theoretical physics. I don't know math. Physics was one of my worst things in school. But goddamn do I love theoretical physics. I just really like space. I think space is awesome. So, yeah. You could tell that with my previous sketchbook, with me going just balls deep into sci-fi story building. Anyways, the sketchbook fell apart. I wrote it on it. You can see there's marker bleed through, so yeah, we're just gonna start, I feel. So yeah, first thing that happened was that I designed this guy. This is Artyom. He's my solo wizard OC. I had, in a previous sketchbook tour, I'm pretty sure I showed us a character that looks very similar. That character got scrapped, got turned into Artyom. And that's also where, like, another character named Castor came in. And if you follow me on TikTok, you've seen a lot of Castor and Artyom because I love them. And they show up mostly, like, in these sketchbooks. But yeah, this is at first what I thought Castor was gonna look like, because I saw on Twitter that somebody had drawn, like, this very cool character with, like, wolf ears and, like, made it into a very, like, badass character. And I kind of want to do that. I still want to do that to some degree, but it's not going to be this guy because Castor is way different now, and he is my baby. I love him. So yeah. I also I like keeping little stickers and stuff like that to put in from books that I buy and whatnot. And I bought I'm going to show you, actually, because I like it a lot. I bought this, which is just, you know, as it says, King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. It's all of the stories in this really neat book, and I like it. The binding is very pretty. It has these really pretty end pages, and it has a built-in bookmark. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. I use the kind of vibes a lot for my Power Ranger OCs. So yeah, they'll show up later as well. I love Power Rangers. I've been thinking about doing like a video, like I know that I talk about video ideas that I have and then I never make them. I need to like get a notebook to write things down properly, or just like a Google Doc. But I have Power Ranger OCs and I love them a lot, and I would like to do a video just explaining my Power Ranger OCs at some point, because I do want to write a story about them. I have ideas for a story about them. That's gonna be something. But yeah. This is Power Ranger OC stuff. This is Riley, and then Alton. That's also Riley, because I keep hurting him, and you will see that more. I'm gonna censor this. I can see it. If you are on Twitter, you know what this image is. But I don't think YouTube will be very happy with me if I just show it blatantly. This is not sexual, it's not supposed to be. I just like drawing skin, and I wanted to practice body types, and I want to figure out what Alton's body type is. Also hairy, because I thought that would be more fun. So yeah. This is also when I started developing the Valor Verse symbol. This is kind of like how it started. And I've shown the Valor Verse symbol a few times. Yeah, this is the final thing that I did. That's what it turned out to be. Because I was in like a thing for when you don't have a job here in Sweden and you are like under the age of 25, I think it is. There's something called ungdomsgaranti, and it lets you like talk to people about getting a job, and it helps you with like getting a little bit of money so that you can survive. And then also you get to do some courses where they talk about how to get jobs and stuff, and how to think when you're looking for a job. And yeah, so I was doodling while I was there a lot, and the Valor Verse symbol was created there, actually. Also more books. So this is the same time when I brought that book, and then I also bought Volume 2 of Guardian, and then Volume 6 of Heaven Official's Blessing. And Guardian is like my favorite Dunmay novel ever. I love it a lot. I have the 3rd volume like ordered. It hasn't been shipped to me yet. Because it was supposed to ship ages ago, so I just hope that they're gonna ship it to me soon, because I am really looking forward for that book, because I always buy the special editions of the final books. I did the same thing for 1000 Autumns. I have volume 1, and then I think it's like volume 5 of 1000 Autumns, and then nothing in between, because I've been reading other books instead, but I didn't want to miss out on getting the special edition, so I still bought it even though I haven't finished the rest of the series. Yeah. Sorry about me fucking ranting so much. But then we have Ellis, more Ellis and the Void Creature. I went to Tekniska, so the science museum in Stockholm. It's a lot of cool. It's very cool, and I got to see one of the like films that they show in the dome thing. So yeah, I watched the one about space, obviously. Ellis and Seamus. This drawing was in the first Artix video, pretty sure. And then I'm gonna have to censor this one as well, but yeah, Ellis and the Void Creature, because he is in a little bit of a weird romance. Yeah, you recognize this from the video, the first Artix video. I really do like the way that these drawings turned out. I really like the musculature of the Void Creature here on the back, and kind of figuring out what they are like, since I wanted them to be hollow to some extent. More Ellis. I am not a My Little Pony fan. I can't stress that enough, yet I can't seem to stop drawing ponies. I haven't drawn ponies in a few months now, so like, yippee. But it was something for a while. And usually I take like pre-existing OCs and then I turn them into ponies. This time I wanted to make like 2 ponies and then turn them human. So I made Solar Flare and the King. That's just the only name. And then I made them into boys. And I do like some aspects of this, so I don't know, maybe I'll use it again, who knows, but I liked them a lot. Yeah, and then this is Nikolai from the back. He got that barcode neck going on. I don't know what this is. I was feeling something, I guess. I bought a shirt, but I can't remember. Practice, Ellis again, Misha, Jason, and of course, you know. And yeah, this is the sketchbook that I use now is the Dingbats one with the tiger on it, because you know me, I love my tigers. More Jason and Misha, because of course, it's always them, isn't it? This one, I like this one a lot. I think it's very cute. You can think whatever you want about it. If you think like it's spicy or whatever, no, it's just cute to me. Same thing with here. I like to imagine them very wholesome. Also, I made them into stuffed animals. In my head, Jason is a gray wolf and Misha is a white tiger. Are those their personas? I don't know. I'm not a furry, but I guess so. And then what if Misha had chaps? That was it. That was the entire thought. And then Jeremy, of course. That's kind of like where that one ended. And then I went on to this one. So yeah, some of these drawings are taken from this as well, by the way. Just putting that out there. More Jeremy, dragons, cat. I had a Warrior Cats OC that I made in high school as a joke with my friends. And they were like, you should draw him again. I was like, okay. I redid that one drawing of Nikolai, but more accurate, or just better, I guess. Ellis looks different now, by the way. I've redesigned him in my new sketchbook. So yeah. And then, I can never let Ellis have a good day. I make him suffer a lot. Yeah, and then this is Ellis's best friend, Mark. This is a clip from the basement yard that I turned into a little comic thing so I could make a TikTok out of it. You can find that on my TikTok. I think it's kind of funny. I saw like a stain in a subway that kind of looked like this, and apparently his name is Peter. And then this is the mechanic crew that Ellis is a part of, so it's Mark, Ellis, Seamus, and then somebody I don't know who they are, and now there's also another character that I made pretty recently. The mechanic crew is gonna grow. I haven't really figured out everyone in the ship that Ellis and Seamus work on, but I am working on it, slowly but surely. And he plays a big role in the lore of the Valor Verse. This is Aurelion, the Hollow Dragon, aka the Star Eater. He eats stars and galaxies and planets, and for every star that he eats, they appear in his wings, so you can tell, like, he's eaten a lot of stars in his life. And he is this gigantic... Technically, he can, like, change his size to whatever he wants to, but he's, like, this gigantic space cosmic entity, and he has... there's another dragon called Theala that shows up a bit later, who is, like, the polar opposite. She creates matter and things, and they got some important lore in the universe that will be disclosed when I do a lore video, or maybe make a wiki. The Ellis. Ellis needs to go insane sometimes. Ellis and Seamus as ponies, because of course I had to. I was talking to my friend Max, and Max was like, yeah, make Ellis an alicorn. It's like, why? Then I had to make him an alicorn, and then Seamus just an earth pony. And then we decided, apparently, that Ellis is the son of Twilight Sparkle, and Seamus is the son of Sunset Shimmer, and now that is the lore, I guess. Ellis canonically also makes nuclear warheads when he is sleep-deprived. That's just canon. I really like this drawing, but there's I remade this drawing later on that looks way cooler. So yeah, this is Theala. And I really like Theala. I think she turned out very cool as a concept for a dragon. These drawings are both, very loose with the watercolor, but hopefully, I'm gonna redraw them a little bit. She kind of breathes life into the universe by creating stars, with her breath, stuff like that. And I like to give dragons, they have these crystal kind of formations in their chest, and that's technically like their hearts, but also their magic crystallized physically. And if you look back on Aurelion, you can see that he doesn't have one. That's why he is hollow. And Theala has two, and it's kind of like implied that maybe she has Aurelion's core as well, but we don't know that yet. Oh. Yeah, I redid Artyom a little bit with his design, so that's what he looks like now. It was an idea that he was gonna have a bearded vulture as a familiar, but the bearded vulture is also like a tiger griffin, and it's also on fire, but I don't know yet. And then I think that's supposed to be Alton again, then Jason Todd, of course, my beloved. More Jeremy. We love Jeremy in this house. He is the best. But I was thinking about Artyom's scars as well, how they would be like on his body, and then that transferred onto here, so he has some rock shenanigans going on, because a lot of my characters do. And then some just environment stuff. I wanted to draw a tree. I may give a character this kind of tattoo at some point. I don't know yet, because it's very annoying to draw, but it's also very cool and very fun. And then this was the creation of Castor. So Castor is Artyom's boyfriend, and we're thinking about putting that kind of tattoo on Castor. Not sure yet. But yeah, Castor is fucking massive. He's 7'8". And Artyom was supposed to be like, oh yeah, he's average height. He's 5'9". He's a kind of a tall guy. And then there's just this massive fucking mountain, but he's like an immortal knight that is cursed to live forever and can't die, and he's constantly looking for a worthy opponent, and then he stumbles across Artyom, tries to fight Artyom, and Artyom goes like, hey, I know somebody else that you could fight instead of me, and then they start this long journey together where Castor, who is like, if you think in D&D terms, he would be a Oath of Vengeance paladin, but over the course of their journey he turns into an Oath of Devotion paladin, because his priorities shift from just wanting to kill things and like, you know, the curse of immortality into his love for Artyom. I love them a lot. So you can tell, because Artyom has some issues, and that's when Castor kind of like starts to soften a little bit. This is just a random map thing that I did for a thing. And then Riley, my Power Ranger OCs, random dragon. That kind of, for some reason, really reminds me of Drago from Bakugan. I think it's because of, like, the blue, even though Drago's crystal was blue and then the rest of him was, like, yellow. But it kind of reminds me of Drago, so. I just have Drago within arm's reach. More dragons, because when do I not? Riley, Alton, but there's Marker Blade through because of this thing. I like it a lot. I think it's very cute. And then random dragon, and then another Castor. Because Castor is really fun to draw with, like, simple shapes, because he's just a helmet and a cloak. He does have a very particular armor. But yeah, then more dragons. This is when I started designing, or thinking about designing the ship. I'm not completely sold on it, but I have, like, an idea of what the layout is like, and then you have, like, the captain's bay and stuff like that, but I'm not super sure yet. And then the ship is kind of, like, built from the bones of a dragon, so this would be the dragon that the ship was built from. And then Seamus, they kind of, like, Seamus and the dragon, since Seamus is the head mechanic, kind of have a psychic link. But yeah, I wanted to draw Ellis as a werewolf, so I did. And then, so Castor and Artyom is technically, like, he has been reincarnated several times because of how Castor became immortal. That happened, like, thousands of years ago, and it had to do with the first incarnation of Artyom, and then, like, in some way, Castor is always responsible for the next incarnation's death. But also, like, not really, but pretty much. So there's some trauma going on with that, and the current version of Artyom is going to be, like, the final incarnation. And then we got more werewolf Ellis, because I thought that would be cool. He also got scars. The Y-shaped scar isn't canon anymore, because, you know, I gave that to Nikolai, and I was just playing around with ideas, but yeah. There was a lot of Artyom and Castor in this sketchbook. I drew them as ponies as well, of course, because why wouldn't I? And I made Castor into a dragon because I thought that would fit, and then I got really attached to the dragon version of Castor, and I should draw it again because it does seem cool. And then I drew with human Artyom and then dragon Castor because I thought that would be cool. And then just some straight up pen marker doodles of Artyom, zombie dragon. I like drawing dragons, if you can't tell. And this was when I was figuring out Castor's armor. This was the first draft I did, hated it. And then I made this one, and I really like the crack in the chest plate. So this is the one that is currently canon. But I am still working on it a little bit, but like this is generally what it looks like. I'm not that good at drawing armor. More Ellis, Castor, and Artyom. These IDs kind of turn into a big drawing that I can probably put on screen somewhere, or you can find it on TikTok and Instagram, pretty sure. Tiny Ellis dragon. And then Castor's face. His face is pretty fucked up because it's been a long while. But I thought that he looked... I wanted to make him look kind of scary, but also like not what you expected him to look like. So, you know, he has a giant hole in his face, his eyes are fully black, but he doesn't look as bad, but he's very ashamed of his looks. But then Artyom loves him anyways, and it's kind of cute, but it's also kind of terrifying. Speaking of kind of terrifying, the Supreme Court, they will return. This is Paul, Maurice, the Duke, Beatrice, Clyde, Patrick. No, that's Dennis. That's Paul. That's Dennis. Dennis Maurice. And then I wanted to figure out, like, maybe doing a painting of them, and then I never did. But they will return. Don't worry about it. Wanted to draw Castor and Artyom in the silliest way that I could. So we got Tube Knight and Tiny Stupid Wizard. More dragons, of course, because when is it not? And then figuring out Castor's body type and what he would kind of look like under his armor. And he is big. He is big. Werewolf stuff. Don't remember the context, but big werewolf. And then I was reminding myself of Morse code and drawing some trees. And here's when I redid that one drawing of Ellis, and I preferred this one a lot more. Now I kind of want to redraw it again because it's fun. Ellis, as if he was drawn by like Mark, probably. And then Artyom's body and Castor's body again. Ellis, I mean, fuck. And then Ellis and Seamus Kithen. This is Aurelion again. And then this is the captain of the ship that Ellis and Seamus is on. That's Natalia. She is Seamus's old buddy, and she kind of adopts Ellis, but not really. She just acts like a mom to him. But yeah, that's her. She's cool. And then Artyom tearing his own flesh, I guess. This is where you can tell that I kind of just gave up. Tried to do a painting and then didn't, whatever that thing is. And yeah, that was kind of just the end of this one. So yeah. And I gave up on this one because I got upset. And then I started the orange one. And the orange one I kind of also got upset at for a while, but went way better than those because, you know, it's almost completely filled. And this one has way more pages. It's a dingbats. So you can see this. These are the things, but then it has so many pages. It has so many pages. So, because this one is very thin, and basically you can tell I switched to using markers, and now I primarily use markers and not watercolor. And I do prefer, I feel like this feels more like me when I'm drawing when I use markers than when I used watercolor. I feel like I've gripped this way of coloring a lot better. But this paper is very nice for markers. It's very thin, but I like it. It's something that you kind of have to get used to, though. I also love drawing fish. That was something that I got back into. Once again, Ellis, this is one of my Power Ranger OCs. Finally, they appear. This is Xiang. I designed a thing to wear to Narcon, and then I never wore it because I made another thing that I wore instead. Another weird cat. I had this laying around somewhere, and I don't know, I just kind of glued it in. Taco. I don't know why I drew a taco, but I did. This was me figuring out the pattern for this wizard robe, and I did sew that. I did make this. I made that. I do have this entire wizard robe. I just never wore it. Another Ellis thinking impure thoughts. A weird little cat. Fish. And then fish. Because I love drawing fish. Drawing fish is really fun. Artyom, Castor stuff. A sword. I finally got ADHD medication. I'm on my 3rd month of using ADHD medication now. I started with 18 milligrams and now I'm on 36. So yeah, you can barely tell. Dragon guy, because I like it. And then first week on ADHD meds, I planned out an entire animatic because I want to see, like, the way that I know if ADHD medication works is if I, like, manage to do an animatic, because it's something that I've always wanted to do. And I got pretty far, and then I never, like, made a I could just take pictures of these sketched frames and use that as the animatic, but I haven't done that yet because I kind of forgot. This isn't what he's gonna look like because I screwed up, and my friend was like, he kind of looks like Bruce Wayne, and now I can't unsee it. And this was the moment where I figured out how I use markers in a way that I like the first time. Now I have a new drawing like that, but this was the one at the time. And I got a coloring book. But yeah, so I drew a bunch of Castors. These were all drawn on the train, by the way. I'm gonna toot my own horn a little bit, but I did that on a train. A moving train going from Stockholm to Gothenburg. So I'm proud of that. And yeah, cursed to never die and to have this fat ass. That's just him. This is my friend, as a detective, because he has a coat that makes him look like one. And then more void creatures. I was going to do Jason Todd as a cowboy, but then it didn't feel like Jason Todd, and I was listening to the song Awake O Sleeper, and I'm not religious. I don't really care for it that much. But that fucking song slaps so hard, I couldn't not. And then more void creatures, because they're a lot of fun to draw. They all have, like, some things about them that are very similar, but they can all look different with, like, how their horns or the holes in their heads and, you know, stuff like that. So they're just a lot of fun to draw. And then this is, like, the best place to buy fries in Gothenburg, and they have, like, their own soda. And I didn't drink the soda, but my friend did, and I just really liked the label, so I took the label. And then more void creatures. This is me designing my second wizard robe, and this is the one that I made, ultimately, because it was, like, between this design and this one, and then I figured, like, this one we like the most because of the pose, because it's iconic. So then I started sketching the other one, but in those kinds of poses, so then the skate wizard was born, and I made this into an actual wizard robe that I have hanging around. These were the fabrics that I used. I put that, and then my friend Max, he's Polish, so he wanted me to draw the Pope, obviously. My Power Rangers OC, I draw him happy, like, once, and then I have to do that. It's like, I can't not do it. So yeah, Riley always has to suffer. That's just canon. Yeah. And then I made him a little bit chubby because I thought that would be cute. And then I tried to use watercolors again. I realized the way that I use watercolors that works for me is very loose and kind of abstract, and using big shapes and not trying to, you know, do detailed work. So I did some Jason Todd drawings, and I really like them. And then Ultraman Rising came out. I've seen this movie I kid you not, like 6 times, and we are discussing watching it again because one of my friends fell asleep while watching it, and then another one of my friends hasn't seen it yet, so we're just gonna watch it again. I love this movie so much. Ken Sato, my beloved. Skate wizard, of course, and things Riley can do, but only while drunk. And then Misha, I drawn him with his, like, chest being blown apart and, like, his arm blown off a few times, but I wanted to do it again. So I did. And then there was bleed through on this side, so I drew my Power Rangers with just straight up ballpoint pen on top of it. Riley and Alton in their Ranger suits, and I like it a lot. I think it's very cool. I love Power Rangers. But yeah, this was the first draft I did. I had a dream about like a D&D party, and then I decided to design that D&D party, and I like them a lot. I think they're very cool. It's 2 married couples and then 2 guys that just can never stop dancing around each other. So they are married, and they like each other, but none of them will make the first move, and it's kind of like they have kind of pseudo-adopted this guy, and these have kind of pseudo-adopted that guy, so it's just like two sets of parents that are just trying to pair their kids up because they know that their kids like each other so much, and I think that's very funny. Because also, like, he's human and he is, who knows? So they are, like, they're all kind of, like, mentally very similar ages, besides maybe David and Hank, but it's like, you know, they're 180 and 150 years old, so they are way older than these two, so they're just like, yeah, we're parents now. But yeah, I love these characters a lot, and I kind of want to do more with them, but I haven't yet. God, Riley! I'm gonna censor this because, yeah, he is going through it all the time. And then I went and helped my dad, like, wash the car, because we barely ever wash it and needed to be done. It needed to be, like, vacuumed. And then because it was, like, I think 12, and it's like 12 in the afternoon, yeah, so lunchtime, and I had just woken up like maybe 30 minutes prior, and my dad knocked on my door and went, "Hey, do you want to come along with me washing my car? Maybe you can get an ice cream." And I said, "Yes, please." And I was dressed in a Devil May Cry shirt, my grandpa's old cargo shorts, they're way too big for me, and this hat, I wear this hat all the time because it keeps my hair out of my face. But I looked like a 12-year-old. I am 21. I am 21 years old. I'm turning 22 in a couple of days. I looked like a 12-year-old standing there eating an ice cream while my dad is washing the car. I ate a dime ice cream because they fuck. And I just, this is the visual of what it was. Me standing on the side, licking my ice cream while my dad is doing the car work. And then as soon as I finished my ice cream, I like ran up and I grabbed the mats that we were vacuuming and putting them outside and like helping my dad kind of out. It's like, my parents are divorced, so I never got that kind of experience as a child going along with my dad doing these kinds of things. And now I do when I'm 21, and I told my dad this, and he was like, yeah, 12, 21, just switch the numbers around, it's practically the same thing. So it was just like a funny little thing. But yeah. And then dragons. This dragon I love a lot, and his horns are redesigned now, but I need to draw this dragon more because I really like this specific dragon. It's Goliath. It's basically Goliath 2.0 because I don't use I've kind of abandoned that story, but I still want to do something with dragons and dragon riders, so Goliath has kind of a little bit of a rehash. And then Riley, once again, going through it, because mind control plotline I thought would be cool, basically. Yeah, this is where I started redoing, like, Goliath a bit, and I made one of his horns curved like this, and the other one, and I really like that. I like this a lot. And I tried drawing, like, a full-body version of him, and this was more like horse-like, and then I wanted to do one that was more tiger-like, because, you know, I love tigers, and I settled for the more tiger-like one, and then I designed, like, a little saddle, like, how would that work if you were riding a dragon, and then a halter, stuff like that. But yeah, I really like Goliath, the new Goliath, a lot. I also tried to redesign Killian, didn't like it, scrap that, not real. Was thinking of redesigning my Power Ranger OCs, the ones that have the biggest, like, Cassia is the one that has the most change because she had a really weak design. originally, so I prefer this one a lot more. She feels more fledged, like fully fledged together. When I first assigned them, I was doing one after the other, so I kind of feel like I ran out of creative fumes the longer I went. This was a dream I had that I wrote down. And then Metal Gear came for my ass. You do not understand. Like, the past month, my brain has been solely consumed by Metal Gear. I love Metal Gear so much. It's stupid. My favorite is Venom Snake. Not Big Boss. Not Solid. You know, some people even have Liquid, the blonde bastard. But no, my brain went like, no, you're gonna have Venom as your favorite. Venom is gonna be your guy, but I can't draw Venom. I've been trying, but I can't figure it out. I think, like, this version of Naked Snake turned out pretty good. I like it, but I cannot for the life of me figure out how to draw Venom Snake, and it makes me so upset. And then character design again, because when do I not? And it turned into, now I'm making a game, or I'm gonna try to make, it's like a card and it's a card and board game where you build up the playing field at the beginning of every match using modules that are like this. And I have fully written out rules. All I need to do now is make some cards so you can, like, play test it. Otherwise, I have the full rules figured out. I just need to make cards, but making cards takes such a long time. But yeah, this was the final character design, because I had, like, an old story way ago. Now I'm gonna see if I can put that on the screen, but I have, like, new versions of this guy and then one of the other characters, like, actual character sheets. Because I had an idea for a story, and then that story got turned into a game instead of, like, a game being turned into a story, and I kind of want to bring it back. So it is, the story and the game is kind of, like, intertwined, just that, like, the story is about the game, but, like, it's not, like, how you would play the game in real life, because, you know, fantasy elements and whatnot, but, like, they're interconnected. I brought back the Supreme Court. They got a little bit of redesigns, and let's see, there we go. Oh, Ellis and Seamus as well, but yeah, Patrick. So they got, the Supreme Court got lore as well. They're Eldritch abominations. Beatrice wants you to love her. That's her thing. The Duke is kind of like the guy pulling the strings from the back. Everybody thinks that Beatrice is in charge, but it's actually the Duke, because, you know, Beatrice is the queen. And then Clyde and Paul are married. They are in love. And then Dennis and Maurice are kind of like a will they, won't they situation all the time. Like, they want to date each other, but none of them is brave enough to, like, confess. And Patrick is kind of like this, even if they are all, you know, Eldritch gods, Patrick is like their god. He's like the upper one, which is why, you know, this whole thing. I learned that flatfish can lay 1 million eggs during one mating season, and that terrified me. And then Dennis finally confesses to Maurice, and then I created Kyle. Kyle is the latest addition. There he is. He loves chicken wings and cheese. That's his thing. That's Kyle for you. Cheese. He crawls around in your house, and then in the middle of the night, he will crawl along your ceiling like that. He will take a bite out of your cheese, and then he will leave. And this is the other character for the story with the game stuff. It's called Kingdom Come. But yeah, this is the other character for that. Her name is Rebecca, or Bex for short. And tried a bone word again, and Patrick. But then I started, like, planning out a painting, and I made a really nice painting that I love a lot, but I was kind of losing my mind trying to plan out what the painting would look like, and it was a whole mess. But the final painting turned out really nice. And then I was thinking of new ideas for, like, a new painting, and then I planned that out. It's the final one. And then, you know, we got the second Artex video, so that was that kind of stuff. I went to an aquarium with my dad, and I was planning on just, like, doodling the fish, but then I just started really observing one particular shark and, like, thinking about all the different anatomy parts of the shark, and yeah, so that happened instead. And then I was kind of like, I didn't want to continue the sketchbook, but I was forcing myself to do it, but I had no clue what to do or what to draw. So I started doodling dragons again. And then the guy from Kingdom Come, this is his body type. This is what his body looks like. But yeah, I was just doodling like a bunch of dragons. This is something that I want to make something with, but I'm not sure what yet. And then I tried to draw animals from memory. It did not go very well. I was planning when we were going to Naticon as well. But yeah, me drawing animals from memory was chaos itself. I have heard that people want the cheetah and the axolotl as stickers, so maybe I'll do that at some point because they are kind of funny. And then, once again, struggling to draw Venom Snake, because when do I not? This is when a man loses his mind. And this was the work that I did to figure out the latest sketchbook, like the previous video, the drawings that I wanted to make. I knew that I wanted a dragon with, like, first I was thinking a sword going through it, and then that changed into a spear pretty quickly, and then figuring out, like, what the body of the dragon would be like, because I wanted it to take up a lot of space, but at the same time not too much space. And I had to figure out, like, how to make the legs look different so that they would be interesting while still making sense. And I really learned a lot about how to draw, like, dragon paws. This was kind of like the final one that I settled on. And then I was thinking of making a persona. And it's not a fursona. It's not a furry. I just really like tigers, so I wanted to do a tiger mask. This was the final drawing that I did. But I feel like I want to do more because I like the shape of it. I just don't like most of the stripes, so I want to mess around with those a little bit more. Family tree of my friend group because I keep getting adopted by my friends. And then more of the dragon stuff, another painting thing, and then Jason Todd drawn at Naticon, and then I was figuring out the ship that Ellis and Seamus work on. Like, it's called the Vanguard, so I wanted to figure out what the symbol for that would be, and then I wanted to change the engineering uniforms a bit. So I was just messing around with that a lot. This is when I got into more like color stuff, this is the one I settled for with the orange palms. But yeah, and then this was the final version of the Vanguard symbol. And then I started doing, the company that owns the ship is called Paradox. So I was figuring out the symbol for Paradox, and this is the final one. So that's what the symbol for that company within my fictional world looks like. And then this is the new crew member for the mechanics. She is a cat person. I don't know why, I just had the image of like a Sphinx cat person as an engineer. And then this is also the final sketch for the video that I made with the Artex. But yeah, and then I was messing around. This is from last night because I just need a scrap piece of paper, and that's as far as it went. But yeah, that was the full scope of those sketchbooks. So that's all that I've done between my previous sketchbook tour and then this one. I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek. I'm not gonna talk about the sketches that much, but like, you've seen this one because it's the video. But you get a little bit of a sneak peek of what I've been doing now. I have this open on Stream-A-Lot when I draw there, but you can see I've really improved in drawing armor, I feel. But yeah, that's this one. That's as far as I've gotten. So that's all that I've been doing since the last sketchbook video. There was some points in time, like a few weeks, or like a week at a time, where I wasn't drawing like at all. So there has been like some little breaks and stuff like that. But generally, this is what's been happening since the last sketchbook tour you saw. And since you have been so many of you have been asking me to draw more, or to do another sketchbook tour, it was only right to do this. I've been meaning to film this for the longest time, and then today finally I was like, oh yeah, I have time, and I got like, oh yeah, let's do it. So doing it. Sorry, I take a drink. So yeah, now I just gotta edit this video. This video will probably come out the same day as I film it, if I know myself correctly, because I don't put a lot of attention into my editing. I have started editing on my computer instead of my iPad, which has been a game changer. But yeah, I still don't put too much effort into it. I should start doing that, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you for being here. Have a good day, have a good night, whatever time it is. Have a good time. I'll see you guys in the next one. And yeah.